Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the narcissist won't let you go. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please subscribe. So I'll jump right in. When the narcissist won't let you go, this is a very important piece of information for you to understand. The narcissist needs supply, and they need individuals around them. And you were one of those people. Perhaps you still are. And many times the narcissist does not want to let individuals and or relationships go. So let's dig into the family relationship. Let's say it's your mom or dad who is a toxic individual, maybe a narcissist. Well, maybe they live in a different state, city, country, location, but they don't want to let you go. That's why they keep popping up around holidays. That's why they keep popping up around your birthday or around special events. That's why they try to contact you, even though perhaps you have gone no contact and blocked them. But they're still using flying monkeys to contact you, to get inside of you and to understand what makes you tick, because they need your supply. They don't want to let you go. Now you may say, well, if it's your mom or dad, I mean, they're supposed to love you, and of course they don't want to let you go. Absolutely correct in a stable or healthy relationship. In a narcissistic setting, no. When you identify that your mom or dad is a narcissist, or flip the script, maybe it's one of your children who is an adult child now, and maybe you're a grandmother or grandfather, well, there are many layers there, but the point is when you identify that these individuals are not the individuals that A, you raised, or B, they didn't turn out the way you wanted them to turn out, or flip that script and you identify now that your mom or dad perhaps wasn't the most stable or healthy individual, and they kept on trying to tear you down. They didn't want you believing in yourself. They didn't want you advancing. They didn't want you bettering yourself. They didn't want you improving. They didn't want you to go to college. They didn't want you to fall in love. They didn't want you to get a good job, etc. All of those things, however, on the same side of that coin, they wanted to take your money. They wanted to take your time. They wanted to take your energy. They wanted to approve of your romantic relationships, of your friendships, of what communities and or organizations you are a part of, because the narcissist didn't want to let you go. Remember this, what you provided for the narcissist, or perhaps you still do provide for them, is a outlet where they can plug into whenever they want to, and they can extract your energy. Think about the message I'm sharing with you. When you disconnect the cable going into the outlet on any electric appliance in your house, then the electric appliance does not function. Think about it. That's what you were. You were being used as an appliance, being plugged in whenever they needed a sounding board, whenever they needed to regulate themselves, whenever they wanted to crush your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, or whenever you were just about to achieve something great in life. Let's say you were going to graduate school, college, university, whatever, PhD, who knows. Did they want you to succeed and achieve that? Probably not. They probably didn't. Think about it. Did they attend your ceremony? Maybe, maybe not. What about your wedding? Did you get married? Was one of your parents or both a narcissist? Did they try to blow up that relationship? Possibly. Did they make the wedding or the ceremony, the graduation, as these two examples illustrate, did they make those times about them? Possibly. Did they try to disrupt your experience with those two things? Most likely. Think about it. That's why the narcissist didn't want to let you go. They wanted to ruin essentially your life. Yeah, I don't say that lightly. That's what they wanted to do. And they wanted you not believing in yourself. They wanted you to tolerate their poor behavior throughout the body of your life, because perhaps they gave birth to you, perhaps they created you, perhaps they adopted you. Who knows what they did? But the point is, in the family setting, the narcissist, they need family members to believe in the bulliness, in the abuse. They need people to believe that they know what's best for the family. That's not the case. Perhaps that's the household you were brought up in. Well, if one of your parents and or both are narcissistic, I get it. It's a challenging environment to grow up in. Point being, you owe them nothing. You absolutely owe them zero. Yes, sure, they gave you life. They put a roof over your head. I get it. But that's what all parents are expected to do. Otherwise, they shouldn't have procreated. With procreation, in other words, having children, comes responsibility. And it is your responsibility, if you are a mom or dad, to raise your child the best way possible. Not to use them as supply, not to not let them go. Think about it. If you were brought up in a stable and or healthier household, most likely when you were 18 or graduated college, whatever, or 21, whatever year it is in the country, location you live in or lived in, most likely your parents said, hey, okay, that's great. Off you go, get a job, fall in love, travel, take this thing called life as an adventure, get out there and experience the world. That's probably what they did. That's because Your parents wanted the best for you, most likely. The narcissist wants nothing of the sort for you. The narcissist wants you stuck thinking about them. How can you fix their problems? How can you give them money? How can you pick them up? How can you take them to the hospital? How can you pay their bills? How can you cut their grass? How can you clean their dishes? How can you improve their life to the detriment of yourself? So bear in mind, as the thumbnail mentions, when the narcissist doesn't want to let you go, many times, in using these examples in the beginning of the video, they don't want to let their own family members go because this is built-in supply for them. It's supply that they believe they can guilt into sticking around to the betterment of the narcissist, to the detriment of the individual. And they have you believing things like, oh, blood is thicker than water. Stick with the family. What happens inside the family household stays in there. Don't share secrets. You owe it to me. I gave you life, but you owe me so much. They'll say all these kind of things and they'll guilt you. And when you are an empath and or when you are being guilted into believing that this individual, maybe your mom or dad or sibling, that they really do owe, that you really do owe them your time, money, energy, effort, love, empathy, that's when it goes sideways, because they've now manipulated you and you're now believing in the false narrative of another individual's beliefs. You're not believing in yourself. That's why you must go no contact with these people. You must block all people associated with them and remove flying monkeys and living your best life. There's so many things to talk about there. Point being, again, is when the narcissist doesn't want to let you go, it's because they're not finished with you yet. And the narcissist, in their tiny little pea brain, they will tell you when they are finished with you. For you old school people, and I drop comments below if this resonates with any of you. In my childhood, we would sit down and we'd have dinner. And when we finished our vegetables and whatever was on our plate, I personally used to have to say, may I please be excused? And when I would do that, my mom or dad would say, yes, Andrew, you may be excused. Be sure to clean your plate and clean up after yourself and do the proper thing. So that's what would happen. Now, there were times when I was younger, I would ask that exact question, may I please be excused, from the dinner table? And they would say, no, Andrew, you didn't finish your peas. Or no, Andrew, there are still mashed potatoes there. What are you doing? And so then I would have to finish it. And sometimes I would be stuck at the dinner table a lot longer than I expected when I wanted to go outside and play with the neighborhood kids. But what did I learn? I learned manners. I learned habits. I learned boundaries. I learned I couldn't just do what I wanted when I wanted at any time I wanted. That is how I was raised. I was raised in a very good household, probably one of the best ever. And I do mean that because I had good, let's put it that way. Point being, I still met the narcissist and here I am. So no one is immune to the narcissistic relationships. What I'm sharing with you is when you are brought up under a household with boundaries, with people, i.e. your parents or support system, putting rules in place that must be adhered to, then you get a proper foundation for life. Now, I understand each and every one of us didn't have that luxury. I get it. I'm extremely fortunate, and I know that, and I've always known that. Many people are grown up or are raised in households with a narcissist or multiple narcissists, and it's not that easy. I get it. I understand. But what I'm sharing is for the rest of your life, you shouldn't be guilted into putting those people in front of yourself to the detriment of yourself, to the luxury of them. Those days are long over. You now need to understand and get the message. The years we're living in, people pleasing is not good. Having boundaries is good. Drowning out toxic people is good. Living your best life is good. Falling for the false narrative of the narcissistic mask is not good. Having people around you that are being energy vampires and or stealing your resources, including money, assets, time, they are not good. Knowing your worth and your value is good. Becoming the best version of yourself, beginning today, if not now, when, is good. These are all the new rules of the new time frame we're in. The days of the past have gone by. What applied to the human race, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it's not shifted. The whole world has shifted, and you know that because you're getting the wisdom on my channel. So what I'm sharing with you here is when the narcissist doesn't want to let you go, many times it is because they want to keep you stuck. They don't want you advancing, and they will guilt you. Another thing, side note here, when the narcissist, let's say that they are divorcing you, or they did divorce you, or let's say it's a sibling, who knows, family member, whatever. These people, many times they will relocate right down the street from you. They really will. A block away, 5 minutes away. They will relocate very close to you. Why? Think about it. What does the thumbnail say to you? When the narcissist doesn't want to let you go, because they still want to be around your energy. They still know your value. They still know they're not finished with you. They still want you thinking about them. They still want to have the ability to drive their car down the street right in front of your house and have you get set backwards in time. In other words, they don't want you to heal. They want you staying in that zombie-like, trance-like state, the narcissistic fog, where you don't know if you're coming or going. So many times I hear that the individual, i.e. the narcissist, has relocated after you've relocated or something similar. The point is they move close to where you live. That is not a coincidence. That is on purpose, because they don't want to let you go, and they don't want you to grow. They don't want you to heal. They don't want you to break free from the shackles, the invisible shackles they have placed upon you. They don't want that. They know deep down inside that you are a supply source that is valuable to them, and they don't want you to understand your worth. Think about what I'm sharing with you. It's not until you get the wisdom on my channel and you couple it with your experience and you say to yourself, oh my goodness, this happens to more people than just me. It's not just me. I'm not alone. You're not alone. It happens to millions of people each and every day, probably hundreds of millions of people, and I don't say that lightly either. Truth of the matter is the narcissist is a people collector. They need people. That's why they don't want to let people go at times. This is not for every narcissistic relationship. I'm saying if any of these things I've shared with you resonate with you, drop comments below, pay it forward to the newbies, help grow the community, help pave the way for the future, for the betterment of unsuspecting individuals who are being preyed upon right now and don't have the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. That was you at one point. It certainly was me. No longer is that me. I am now the educated empath. I am now awakened. I am now aware. I am now empowered and educated and fortified and galvanized. I am now living in the third version of me. Remember, again, there are three versions of you. The first version of you is the version of you before you met the narcissist, perhaps rose-tinted glasses you were wearing. The second version of you is when you're in the narcissistic relationship, you are trapped in that narcissistic fog. And the third version of you is when you break free from the narcissistic abusive cycle and you have healed and or you are well on the healing path. This is when you are in the third version of yourself or entering the third version of yourself. It's the galvanized version. It's the version who now sees the world the way it actually is, and you now have a superpower, which is the narcissistic abusive cycle, wisdom. You now know the glossary, the definitions, the terms. You can now spot a toxic individual in a heartbeat. You now trust your instincts and intuition, and you pay attention to red flags. All those things you didn't do in the past. But before I close the video, understand this. There are times when the narcissist won't want to let you go. Let's think about this. Has the narcissist ever attempted a hoover with you? Think about that. What are they doing when they're hoovering you? And for you newbies out there, a hoover is when the narcissist is trying to draw you back into the relationship. They're testing the waters to see if you've healed, to see if you've figured them out yet. And when the narcissist hoovers, think about it. Why do you think that happens? I'll tell you why. Because they're hungry and they need to get a feeding frenzy of supply and they want it from you. You are just one of many people they are sending that text or call or correspondence to. It's not just you. Don't think it is. It's not. But the point is when they hoover individuals, because they're running low on supply and they need to top off that fuel tank. And at one point, for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship that you were a part of, you were the person who was doing that. You were the person who was providing the fuel for them. You didn't know it, but there was a huge energy exchange going on between you and the narcissist. They were dumping their toxicity into you. That's why you lost weight, gained weight, had sleepless nights, experienced the dark night of the soul perhaps, and had to put yourself back together while all of the world around you imploded and blew up because of the smear campaign. And they were tapping into your beautiful bright light, your abundance, all of your positive energy. They were stealing it from you. Yes, they were. Think about what I'm sharing. So when they try to hoover you, it's because they don't have that supply source lined up and they're really, really getting antsy. And the smartphone, the dating apps aren't cutting it these days. So that's why they try to go back to older sources of supply to see how strong they are, if they've healed, etc. But get my message. There are times, not always, but there are times the narcissist won't want to let you go. And if you understand one thing, if the narcissist moved anywhere near you, huge red flag, ding, ding, ding. Now you identify that this person needs to be around a source of supply, and it most likely is you. Think about what I'm sharing with you. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. Stay true, stay blessed. Continue to become awakened and aware and understand that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. Guys, the narcissist, the best thing that could ever happen for you, honestly, is removing them from your lives. Don't think that you could have done anything better. Don't think that you should have tried harder. Don't think that you didn't give or contribute. Don't be guilted into staying in any relationship with them or any communication with them. Don't fall for the mask again. Don't believe the false narrative. Don't believe a word that comes out of their mouth, because they will say anything they possibly can, just like they did when they were in the relationship with you. They will say anything they possibly can to keep that door open just a crack with you and or with so many other people on the planet. And all it takes is a tiny little crack of that door to be open, then boom, they will kick it wide open. Next thing you know, you're back in another round of narcissistic abuse. So don't do it. Let these people shrivel up and fade away, just melt away, just like the Wicked Witch of the West. Let them do that. Guys, no matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye, guys.